Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and if this is your first time here, you're welcome. Please subscribe before you go, and please make sure you turn on that bell for notification. Thank you so much. So in the last update about Jodha and AKBAR, we saw how Azan died. That is the child that belongs to Jodha out of the twin, and Jodha couldn't bear it and Jodha collapsed immediately. That was the last update. Let's continue from there. Jodha was lying on the bed unconscious and Akima was checking her. The entire family with Jalal stand surrounding Jodha's bed, and everyone were gloomy and depression was prevailing everywhere. Akima says that Jodha might not be able to tolerate the sight of the dead body of Azan again, and Jodha suddenly rises from the bed. Jodha looks at Azan lying wrapped up in a white cloth in front of her, and Jodha rushes to Azan and she scolds everyone for wrapping her child in a white cloth because it is a bad omen. Jodha carried Azan's dead body and the entire family stares at Jodha and her child, and they were unable to hold back their tears as Jodha lovingly holds Azan in her arms and talks to Azan lovingly as if he was still alive. Jalal comes to Jodha and tries to explain the situation to Jodha, but Jodha was unable to accept the truth. Jodha cried uncontrollably and she pleaded with Jalal to make her Azan come back to her, and Jodha was really shattered. The entire family were in tears watching Jodha weeping over Hassan's dead body, and Rukkaiya was there holding Hussain tightly in her hand. Jalal holds Jodha in his arms and tries to pacify her, and Jalal was also crying and controlling Jodha at the same time. The priest comes there and does a ritual on the dead child, and Hussain takes Hassan's dead body away from there. In their room, Zinat and Kazim were happy that Hassan was no more, and half of their job is done. Kazim says that they have taken revenge for one eye of his father that Humayun blinded, and now it is remaining the second baby. In Jodha's room, Jodha was crying and talking to the empty baby cot, and Jalal comes to Jodha and holds Jodha closely to himself. Jalal cried and tells Jodha that he is a king and he can do anything, but he cannot bring his son back to life. Jodha says that she always do good for others, but why was she punished with the death of her own child? Jalal pacifies Jodha that this is a bad time and it would pass soon, and Jalal tries to calm Jodha down. Moti and Zakira comes there and takes away the baby cot from her room. Jodha was resting her head on Jalal's lap, and Jalal was caressing Jodha gently, and Jalal asks Jodha to sleep. Jodha says that she wants to sleep forever and not wake up again, and Jalal replies that he was also still living after losing his child because Jodha is with him, so Jodha should not think of sleeping and not waking up again. Jodha laments over the death of her child, and Jodha says that Ma'am Anga's cause was having its effect. Jalal tells Jodha lovingly that he was living because he loved Jodha and he is still living for Jodha's sake. So how would he live if Jodha continued to talk and lament like this? Jalal was heartbroken as Jodha continues to cry bitterly, and Amira comes there and asks Jalal to go for the final rituals of the dead baby. Jodha wished to hold Azan for the last time, and Jodha wished to go with Jalal for the baby burial, but Amida stopped Jodha. It is time for the baby burial, and Jalal carried the dead body of Azan in his arms, and the entire royal entourage were following him, while the royal ladies and everyone else watched the burial from the harem balcony. Jodha was also watching the burial from the balcony, and Jodha was crying bitterly. Amida and Salima controlled Jodha with much difficulty, and Moti was worried about Jodha, and Moti was also upset because of the death of Jodha's child, and the child is even Jodha's firstborn. After the burial was done, Jodha was in her room still crying, and Amida and Salima were there pacifying Jodha. Moti comes there and offers Jodha a drink, but Jodha refused to eat or drink anything. Moti wanted to light the lamp at Jodha's temple in the room, but Jodha stops Moti from lighting the Kana lamp. Jodha angrily comes to Moti and throws the lamp away, and Jodha accused Kana that in all her life, she light the lamp for Kana and she worshipped Kana idol, but in return, Kana has snatched away the light from her life, and Kana has plugged her life into darkness. Jodha angrily vows in front of Kana that she would never light Kana's lamp again in her life, and Jodha angrily looks at the Kana idol and says that she will not light the lamp again and she will not worship Kana ever again from now on. And do Kana understand? And Jodha covered the Kana idol with cotton, and Jodha really looks like she has gone mad. Amida owes Jodha, and Salima asks Jodha to control herself, but Jodha still breaks down and cries miserably, and Moti cries as well. Jodha suddenly heard the baby crying, and it was Hussein's crying voice, and Jodha gets up and says that Azan is calling her, and where is her baby? Jodha runs from her room, and Salima and Moti were also running behind Jodha, and they ask her to stop, but Jodha keeps running towards where the crying baby voice was coming from. In Rukkaiya's room, Rukkaiya was waiting for Zina to come and feed Hussain, and Rukkaiya was making Hussain calm down, but the baby keeps crying. Jodha comes to Rukkaiya's room, and Jodha takes Hussain from Rukkaiya. Jodha smiles and kisses Hussain and says that her child is back. Rukkaiya was shocked, and Jodha plays with Hussain and says that her son is hungry and she would feed him. Jodha sits and feeds Hussain, and Rukkaiya was restless that Jodha would take Hussain from her. After Jodha was done feeding Hussain, Rukkaiya was about to say something to Jodha, but Salima stops Rukkaiya and says that Rukkaiya should at least let Hussain be with Jodha for a while. Maybe Jodha will find peace with Hussain. Jodha makes Hussain sleep, and Rukkaiya was not happy about how Jodha collected Hussain from her, and Rukkaiya quickly snatched Hussain from Jodha, and Jodha and Salima were surprised at Rukkaiya's behavior. Jalal was with Amida, and Jalal was crying, and Jalal says that he used to write his destiny with his sword, but why not this time? Amida says that Jalal have to handle himself properly in order to handle Jodha, so Jalal should stop getting shattered like this. Amida tells Jalal that she knows that Rukkaiya did not like Jodha coming near Hussain, but they cannot ignore the truth that Hussain is Jodha's child, and Jodha is not childless, and Jodha feels peace when she finds Hussain near her, and Jalal should understand what she is saying, and Jalal thinks. Jalal comes to Jodha, and it was all dark in Jodha's room. Jalal asks Moti to light the lamp in Jodha's room, and Jalal asks Jodha that did Jodha eat something. Jodha says that she is not hungry, and Jalal says that Jodha used to say that they should not insult food, but now Jodha is not eating. Jodha says that it was a talk of the past, but she doesn't believe in all that now. Jalal extends food to Jodha, but Jodha doesn't eat it, and Jalal thinks that he cannot let Jodha destroy herself like this. Jalal comes out of Jodha's room, and Jalal thinks of how Rukkaiya asked Jodha for Hussain, and how Jodha willingly agreed to give Hussain to Rukkaiya. And Jalal also thinks of how Amida said that Hussain is Jodha's child, and they cannot ignore that fact. Zinat comes to Rukkaiya and says that is Rukkaiya not afraid. Rukkaiya asks that for what, and Zinat says that Hussain is biologically Jodha's child, and Jodha can take Hussain back from Rukkaiya. Rukkaiya says that Hussain is her son, and she has written agreement, and Jalal has approved the agreement. The other women sitting there says that it was Rukkaiya's greatness that Rukkaiya allowed Jodha to feed Hussain, and Rukkaiya says that she did not have any option, so she had to allow Jodha feed Hussain, but Jodha cannot take Hussain from her. Jalal comes to Rukkaiya's room, and Jalal blesses Hussain. Jalal says to Rukkaiya that Rukkaiya believe that he is Rukkaiya's best friend. Rukkaiya knows that yes, and Rukkaiya asks that what is the matter. Jalal says that everything is not fine, and he cannot bear Jodha's current state. Jalal says to Rukkaiya that Jodha is totally broken, and that is why he came to Rukkaiya to take Hussain back to Jodha. Rukkaiya was shocked, and Rukkaiya asked that what do Jalal mean, and how can Jalal think that he would ask her for a child. Jalal says that Jodha made Rukkaiya's dream complete by giving Hussain to Rukkaiya, but now Jodha is broken, and it was Jodha that gave Rukkaiya hope to live, but Jodha herself has lost hope in life, and so he just wants Rukkaiya to give Jodha her child back. Otherwise, King Jalaluddin will beg in front of Rukkaiya, and he would open his hands in front of Rukkaiya, and he will beg Rukkaiya. Rukkaiya says that so to give peace to one wife, then Jalal will take peace from the other wife. Rukkaiya says that she knows what Jodha is going through, and she knows that she is a mother as well, but Jalal cannot give peace to someone by snatching the peace from another person. Jalal says that he is asking Rukkaiya to give Hussain to Jodha for some time, and Rukkaiya takes Hussain in her hands and hugs him tightly, and Rukkaiya asks that for how long would Jodha be with Hussain before she would take her baby back from Jodha, and she wished that it was not about their friendship, but she cannot give her child back to Jodha because she will not be able to live after that. Rukkaiya hugs Hussain tightly and says that she cannot lose her baby, and she cannot. Then Jalal sadly leaves from there, saying that Rukkaiya is adamant to let go of the baby. Barma and Jodha's grandmother happily comes to Agra to meet their grandchildren, and Grandma was very excited. Jalal was sadly sitting in his room with Jodha, and Jalal says to Jodha that if Jodha wants, then Jodha should not wear any jewelry, but Jodha have to apply vermilion, and Jalal put vermilion on Jodha's forehead. Jalal says to Jodha that everything will be fine, and Jalal hugs Jodha and both of them cries. A servant comes there and says that King Brahma has come from Amer, and Brahma and grandmother comes into the court. Grandma meets Jodha and gives Jodha gift for her twins, but Jodha refused to accept the gift. Grandma asks Jodha to accept the gift, and Jodha with pale face looks at Grandma. Grandma asks that what happened to Jodha, and Jalal was there supporting Jodha while she was so weak and devastated. Brahma asks that why did Jodha hide the Kana idol, and Jodha says that she doesn't want to see the idol. Brahma asks Jalal that what happened, and Jalal with lot of pain says that one of their twins has died, and on hearing this, Grandma drops the gift that she was holding in shock. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching till the end, and if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a like, don't forget to share it if you can, and please don't forget to comment if you can as well. And I'll see you all again in my next video. Bye guys.